me. I am a heating oil guy. But I've got a lot of customers in the propane business. So I'm going to be talking about the technology of today's smartphones. And the second confession I have to make is I'm not a technology guy. The last programming course I took was Fortran course at Temple University in 1977. This guy remembers what Fortran was. So, but I have very, very talented technology guys working around me. I am the co-founder and president of Digital Dispatcher, and we've been working with smartphones long before they were smart. Years ago, from the Philadelphia area, years ago we were expecting a big snowstorm in Philadelphia. And you guys in the Lake Effect region are probably going to laugh. We only got 3 feet. So I was dating a girl, and it was a little scandalous. Like I said, I was from Temple, she was from Columbia, the country, not the university. So we had this snow in the forecast, and she goes, "Oh, great, we'll get a snow holiday." And I was like, "Honey, you have no idea what I do for a living, do you?" I deliver fuel that heats people's homes. Snow means that we're going to really be working hard. So she was a trooper. She showed up to work. I had a brother. I got a brother that has one of everything. I had one brother that's got like a big monster truck. So he picked me and my girlfriend up, and we arrived at work. And he went and picked up a few drivers and got some chains and threw some chains on the trucks. And we were out making delivery, and you know, this girl didn't know anything about what I did for a living, but she helped answer phones, and the phones were going crazy because you know what happens. And Philadelphia's not as bad as D.C. You know, D.C. gets 3 inches of snow and they shut down for a week. Yeah, Philadelphia gets 3 feet of snow, and it's a big event for us. It shut us down for weeks. And so what happened is we actually were putting trucks on the street when nobody else was putting trucks on the street. And we started picking up customers, and we started, it was great. We were growing. We were just putting 2 guys on a truck with shovels and chains and getting customers. And but one thing we found out, and this was my real introduction to the power of cell phones, and this was 1996. I don't know if any of you guys remember. It was June 6th of 1996. It was a significant winter weather event. And it snowed for about 3 days, but we were out there making deliveries, and there were a few other courageous companies out there making deliveries. And what we were finding is we were pulling up to make deliveries, and the customers would occasionally just turn our guys away. It's like, oh, somebody else got here. Because they thought they were ordering pizza, and whoever got there first, you know, that's who they were going to get their product from. And so we put the early cell phones, this is 21 years ago, the early cell phones, we put cell phones in every driver's hand, and we decided to call every customer before the delivery, because you know, you'd pull up a street and you'd dig it out for an hour, and you'd go to pull the hose, and the customer would turn you away. It was very disheartening. So to overcome that, we put cell phones in the driver's hands, and that was my first introduction to that. You know, these things, and they were expensive as all. I mean, they were really, and they were big. They were like these big bricks. So, but the outcome is that our company got a reputation as we were one of the troopers that got out there and were delivering product in the worst of conditions, and we started to grow, and we had to hire new drivers and get new trucks. And the next big revelation of the power of cell phone came from a hire that we had. And sometimes, you know, sometimes you can't be that choosy when you're hiring a driver. I'm sure some people in the room have been in that position where you're just looking for somebody with a pulse. So, you know, I hired a guy who had a pulse. And I gave him the keys to the truck and gave him some stops, and you know, invariably, you know, and this was, you know, we still had the Motorola radios in the trucks. The guys had the cell phones, so they could call the customers. But we had the two-way radios, the 900 megahertz Motorola radios in the trucks, and it was, base to 25. Yo, Jay, can you hear me? Stand by, boss. I'm backing out of the tight alleyway here. Yeah, I just need you to tell me how many stops you got, because we're getting backed up here, and I got to give you some more work. Stand by, boss. Let me count them up. And it's like time would tick on, and it's like, come on, Jay, I only gave you like 5 stops 2 hours ago. How many stops could you possibly have? Base of 25. Jay, what do you got? Hold on, boss. Count them up. A minute will go by. Jay, just tell me how many stops you got. How many stops you got? 1. and you've heard of chaos theory, right? Chaos theory is like a butterfly flaps its wings into Amazon, and all of a sudden there's a blizzard whipping through New York, and there's some correlation. So the chaos result is this driver Jay really drove the development and the seed for digital dispatcher, because I realized that occasionally I'm going to have to hire a driver with a pulse, and I'm going to have to give him more tools to be more productive, and I shouldn't have to wait 5 minutes to have him count up his 1 stop. So, and this is a couple years after the blizzard, okay, and it was around 1999 that the earliest of smartphones came in, and these were Nextel phones that allowed you to run little Java programs on them, and they actually allowed you to send an email back. So I was like, Eureka, now I can figure out what Jay's doing. So I told Jay, and I told all the other drivers, every time you make a delivery, I want you to spend just 30 seconds, and I want you to email your record back to the office. So this was the seed of the company that we developed, which is this technology company today, which, thank God, is using devices that are infinitely smarter than they were 20 years ago. So I had my drivers send back emails after every delivery, and then I had a girl in the office. Oh, incidentally, that girl who helped me with this, I married her. We celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary this summer, and we have 3 anchor babies. So she's not going anywhere. Coming back to the drivers in the field, I had them email their work back to me, and I said, I don't care, just send me the account number, the amount, the volume you delivered, the whole gallons and the tenths of a gallon, and if you collect any money, give me the dollar amount and send it. Just send it over. And then I had somebody in the back office who would just take these emails, and they would cut and paste emails, and they would put them into Lotus 123. Nobody even remembers what Lotus 123 is. Okay, it predated Excel. So we dropped this information into an Excel sheet, and there I had a manager's dashboard right in front of me. I could just pop through different tabs of this Excel type spreadsheet and see exactly where my drivers were and how many gallons they delivered and how many stops they didn't get to. And I even grabbed the timestamp. I knew when they got there. So I had all this information. And it was just because they had these little phones, actually they weren't that little, these big brick phones that allowed them to send an email back. Now, over the last 18 years, phones have gotten really smart. And at this moment in time, you don't have a more powerful, versatile, and suitable computer for mobile technology than the cell phone. I don't care if you just bought a brand new Panasonic Tufbo. I don't care if you got a brand new Intermac Windows device that you just put in the cab of your truck. It's obsolete the day you get it. And it doesn't have near the features and functionality that you can get in a powerful cell phone. Now, while I was running the oil company, and I'm from the big Irish Catholic family, so we all took our turns running business at one point or another. You know, I did leave the oil company, and I went to school, and my official academic training is economics. And I taught energy economics and macroeconomics at Temple University for a number of years as an adjunct. So I was playing both fields, running a fuel delivery company and teaching in the evenings at Temple. So my real passion is economics, and economics really is the study of efficient choices. We make choices based on marginal benefits and marginal cost. Every choice, whether it's a business choice or a personal choice, we make these choices based. Decisions are made at the margin. So if you're looking at a really powerful computer device that you have available to you, it's in your hand. What's the marginal cost of that device? It's nothing. You either have it, you either issue one to your driver, or the driver has his own. And when you get a mobile computing solution for your operation, and many of you in the room may already have one, okay? And there may be a handful of people who don't have one, okay? But when you get a mobile computing solution in your truck, it gives you a tremendous amount of power. And the more versatile, the more powerful the device is, the more power you're going to have with that solution. All right. And the cost of any of these solutions, whether it's a traditional, I'll call it the brick OBC solution, whether it's the Windows Intermax solution or the Panasonic Toughbook or whatever kind of Windows or the traditional onboard computer systems that are out there. And I know there's a number of people in the room that have them in their trucks today. Okay? When you get that solution, there's two components to the pricing of that solution. There's the hardware component. Okay, so you got to pay for a computer, you got to pay to get it mounted and installed in the cab of your truck, you got to pay to get it configured, you got to pay to get training, and then there's some soft costs that you have to pay for, the learning curve, getting your drivers trained up on it and accepted, and the maintenance of it. And then you're going to pay another part of it, which is the software development. You're paying for the intellectual property associated with it. So if you're looking for a really powerful onboard computer system, okay, start with one that does a whole lot more and costs a whole lot less. It just makes sense. That's the economist in me. The marginal cost is next to zero, and the marginal benefits are huge. Now, Amanda, can you bring us a slide here for a second? So this isn't even a comprehensive list, but just give you a couple ideas, some of the things. Let's see. All right. So, you know, what can you do with a smartphone? What can a smartphone do for you? Okay. It'll work with any accounting package. Getting an interface for an onboard computer system work with an accounting package is just a question of getting the accounting package people to cooperate. And even in cases where they don't cooperate, sometimes you can just read the data. You can go right into the tables and you can read the information, or use some existing off-the-shelf interface. But generally, this powerful computer here has the ability to work with any accounting package. Once you have it working with, and if it won't work, if your accounting package won't let it work, it can run standalone. It can still do a tremendous amount of work for you running standalone. It can do very sophisticated scheduling, routing, and optimization, and tracking. Okay? I won't have to ask Jay how many stops you're holding. I'll just pull up my dashboard in the background and I'll see, okay, Jay's got one stop. Expect him back in 2 hours. The device will do turn-by-turn directions. Okay? You may have a Garmin or a TomTom or a Magellan or something that you paid for. Okay? You don't really need that. You get Google Maps. There's some real great navigation tools that are available from the App Store that'll take into consideration parkways, restricted roads, bridge weight limits, tunnels, hazmat restricted roads. So you can get really sophisticated. Turn by turn directions. You can do as detailed point of sale invoices you could possibly imagine. Okay? And you guys have a pretty complex tax structure here in New York. You got taxes on taxes, taxes on top of the taxes on taxes. You got state, county, federal, state, county, school district. I mean, you got it. Doesn't make a difference how complicated it is, because you got a really powerful computer that can handle it. All right? It'll talk to the meter registers. Okay, whether you have LCs, MIGTOMs, Neptunes, whatever you have, it'll talk to your meter registers. We even have operations that run with the old mechanical registers. You know, the 3-part ticket, crank them in. Okay. Cell phone can even work with that. You know, instead of automatically getting data capture from an electronic device talking to a meter register, okay, you just have a driver punch in his volume, and then the computer can do all the rest. All right. You'll know exactly how much inventory you'll have on your truck. It'll do a quick calculation. You go to load a bobtail, you put in your start percent, you put in the ambient temperature, you put in your M%. It'll tell you exactly how much product you have in your truck, whether you metered it or not. It'll track your vehicle's location. It'll give you a breadcrumb trail. It'll tell you exactly where your truck is at any moment in time. Okay? And you'll know where the truck was at any moment in time. Posting files. A lot of you have more computers, they're taking advantage of that. It's a huge advantage of it. Instead of a clerk having to manually post the delivery records back to the accounting package, just hand it a posting file, reconcile, start, finish, totalize it, reconcile, sum all your tickets, reconcile, your driver collected any money on the account, all that information is proved out, and it takes like a minute, what would normally take a posting clerk 15 minutes. You're gathering all sorts of data. You're gathering exactly where the driver was, when it was, how much product he delivered, what product he delivered. And you can, from that data, you can just create incredible report. You can do awesome driver vehicle productivity reporting, because you'll know how many hours the driver worked. It's all captured by the device. You'll know how much product he delivered, how many stops he made, how many times he had to load. All that can go into a driver vehicle report. The nice thing about the cell phone as your powerful field computer is that it's always evolving. This is a device that can do something tomorrow that we haven't even thought about. And someone's going to write a brilliant app. You're just going to go to the App Store and download the app, and you'll be able to use an awesome app. There's great apps up there. There's driver vehicle inspection report, hours of service report. They're free. Download them right from the App Store. RFID technology is really cool. So, partly because I'm an industry guy, and partly because I'm Irish, I have to tell stories. So, tell another little story about the power, illustrating the power of the RFID technology. Show of hands, anybody in here deliver refined fuels in addition to propane? Nobody wants to admit it. Okay. Thanks, Shane, for letting me anyway. So, if you make a wrong delivery to a tank, it's expensive. At a minimum, you're going to lose the product. If you're a heating oil guy, the sky's the limit how expensive it can be. So I had a guy who was a little dyslexic. It wasn't Jay. It was a different guy. And he pulled up to 5234 Marshall Street, and he should have been at 5234 Masher Street, because it was back in the day where you just dispatched the stop to him by two-way radio. Hey, Jay, I got to stop for you, 5234 Marshall Street. Okay, boss, I'm on my way to 5234 Masher Street. No, I said Marshall Street. Yep, I got it, it's Masher Street. No, it wasn't Jay. It wasn't Jay. It was the other guy. Yeah, he got it. He went to Masher Street. No, I said Marshall Street. No, I got it. So, And this may have happened to somebody who may also do heating oil, but he pulled up and house looked like the right house, and it was an automatic out of oil. And he hooks up to the tank, pumps a couple of product, and with oil, as oil goes in, air comes out, there's a vent alarm, signals to the driver, it's safe to continue product. Well, he didn't get a vent alarm, so he shut it off after 3 gallons, okay? Knocked on the door, didn't get an answer, okay? Left a note on the door, said, hey, give us a call, there's a problem with your vent, we want to check it out. Okay. 2 weeks later, the fire department shows up at our office and says, did you make a stop here? And we said, yeah, we did, but there was a vent alarm, we couldn't get a hold of the customer. And we showed him, we thought he went to Marshall Street, but he went to Masher Street. And he said, no, we made the stop at Marshall Street. No, here's the note, it's at Masher Street. Okay, and it turned out he pumped 3 gallons into the basement because some neighborhood plumber ripped out the tank, cut the pipe, and never cemented up and removed the fill. So the driver made an honest mistake. He just had bad hearing. He heard Nationals and Marshall. And we had a 3-gallon spill in the basement, and $1 million later, the insurance company settled for a 3-gallon spill. Okay. So now you guys are just like wiping your brow. Oh, thank God I'm propane, not heating oil. But even a wrong delivery in propane can really be problematic. So with RFID technology, what we can do is you can take an RFID chip and we can apply it to the tank. And there's a number of ways. It can be adhesed to the tank, it can be epoxy to the tank, it can be zip tied. They come in all different forms. But you can go ahead and identify the tank. And then when the driver comes up and makes his delivery, okay, he pulls up. All he does is take his phone, which has what's called near-field communication technology. Okay, he just taps his phone on the RFID chip, and he gets a big message, big green light. Yep, you're at the right spot. You can make your delivery. If he's at the wrong delivery, he's going to get a big red circle with a cross through it. No, you're at the wrong delivery. Don't deliver here. And these things are really cheap. And they last, they're like this material that's a plastic material that is advertised to have a life of like 20 years. And they cost like not even 50 cents a piece. So you do the net present value of what these things really cost you. They cost nothing. Okay, you just apply them to every tank out there, and every time a driver goes out there, he spends an extra second tapping, yep, I'm at the right place, I can go ahead and make my delivery. So RFID technology is really cool. And try to do that with the Panasonic Top Book or an Intermac. Can't. Because this is a better computer. The cell phone's just a better computer. It's more suitable for mobile computing. You can capture signatures electronically, take the device right with you. You ever have to capture a customer's signature, you just pull it up and sign right on the phone, and then you've got a copy of the electronic signature. Media files. Okay? You pull up to a stop, and the tank's a little pitted, a little rusted. You want to report back to the office. This is a tank that should be serviced. Take a picture of it, send it back to the office. We talked about reporting and apps that are available. You can go to the App Store and you can find really cool apps. If you guys are currently filling out a driver vehicle report or hours of service report, propane safety check, leak test, cathodic protection test, any of these reports, there's apps for them. You can just capture them electronically, send it back to the office, so you have the report. You can do that right on the smartphone. You can do notification to customers. You can do email, text message notification to customers. Okay, so I'm on my way. Open your gate, or you have to pick up a back balance. Somebody was just released by the credit department. They promised to have a check ready for the driver. Okay, don't go all the way there until you confirm that your customer's there. Notify them, let them know you're on your way. At the end of the delivery, you can do certainly you can do the point of sale invoice, but in addition to a printed point of sale invoice, you can do an emailed invoice. Just you've got all the information. You just Bingo, you send the invoice right to the customer right away. You'd be amazed at what that will do to your receivables. Getting the customer an invoice minutes after completing a delivery, you're just going to get paid that much faster. The other real beauty of the cell phone as a mobile computer is the installation into a truck with electronic register. Like, takes nothing. Most of these registers have what's called an RS-232 port, which is a communication protocol. I'm not really a technology guy, but I can sound like one sometimes. But you hook into the Bluetooth connection, or we provide a Bluetooth antenna that hooks into the serial port RS-232 connection of the register, and the installation's done. It literally takes 2 minutes to install a smartphone onboard computer system into the cab of a truck. You know, compare that to a Touchstar, or I should be naming it. I take that back. Untouchstar. So, but compare that to the traditional onboard computer systems out there. Some of them take a man-day to install the equipment in the truck. There's so much equipment. There's hardware. There's harnesses, cables, mounts, configuration. It takes a man-day to install a computer into the truck. And now you got a computer that's obsolete. So if you can harness the power of the cell phone, now you got a device that'll grow with you. And guess what? All these devices, whether it's a cell phone or whether it's a Motorola or a Panasonic Toughbook or any of these parts, they're all light bulbs. Every one of them. The phone you got in your pocket, it's a light bulb. It's going to die. It's going to burn out on you. Good one will last a few years. You know, these onboard computers, you maintain them, you know, you can get 5, 6, 7 years from them and you're replacing them. Okay? Wouldn't you rather replace a computer in your truck that costs next to nothing? Because the cell phone providers essentially give these phones to you for next to nothing, unless you want the latest model, and you might pay a few $100, but you don't even need the latest model to get the power that you need. You can buy last year's model, and it's going to be infinitely more powerful than you really need. And if there's new apps available, you can just download it, so it can do more for you than you even knew when you first got it. So, I want to just advance one more slide. So, you know, what does this really give your business? All right? Information is power. Information is really, really important. And the information you get from a computer that's a really sophisticated data collection device, okay, is going to give you a level of control that you never even thought possible. It's going to drive down the cost. You're going to be building much more efficient routes. You're going to have much better information. You're going to be using more sophisticated mapping tools. So you're going to get information, you're going to get control, and the bottom line is you're going to get profits. Now I could have put a whole bunch of bullet points up there of all the things that you get from this, because there's a whole lot of a lot that you get from this, but this kind of encapsulates it. Okay. And if you want to remember it, just remember, I see profits. So you want to see profits, okay? Get a better onboard computer in your truck, and there isn't a better, more versatile, more powerful onboard computer than the cell phone that you have in your pocket today. So that, you can advance to the slide. I want to thank you and thank the New York Propane Gas Association for inviting me to share this information with you today. If anybody has any questions, I know we're running a little late, supposed to have lunch at noon. I tried to short this up, but sometimes I can't help myself with my stories. So, but yes, a question.
2 questions. First of all, can you do anything like this for service?
Absolutely. I'm glad you asked that question. I didn't even touch on that. Okay? So we have a detailed service solution. Okay? And whether you run an HVAC service department or whether you're just setting tanks, okay? And you might have two different, you might have a tank setting division, and you might have an HVAC or equipment setting division, all right? The solution allows you to run a sophisticated app right on your handheld. You need to print a service ticket for the customer in the field. There's a real nice Bluetooth printer that'll work with it, so you can print right to the spot. And it's on the technician's hip, and the technician has it already. You have access to all sorts of billing codes. You have access to work recommendations. They're your codes. Parts codes, yes.
How does it work with your main system that you're looking at? How do you get the information?
I'm sorry, say that?
How do you get the information from your main software programs to?
Okay, so the question is, how do you interface to your main accounting package? Okay, we currently interface to a few dozen industry accounting packages, and we interface to a number of home-based accounting packages. So the process of us talking to an accounting package is, it's always easier if you get some cooperation from them, and we would just provide an interface spec, and we're agnostic to the back office accounting package. I mean, we'll work with most of the packages out there, and we provide an interface spec. And there's two general sides to an interface. One is when you create the work order, and this is true whether it's a delivery work order or a service work order. Okay, and when that record's created, it's handed over to our system. Okay, and then it's on a dispatch board. I mean, I can spend some time with you later and show you. And then you send it out to the service tech, or send it out to the driver, the route, send it out to them. And then the data is collected in the field, whether it's delivery data or service detail data, and it's packaged up and it's handed right back to us. And then we hand it back to the accounting package, and that's the second side of the interface, second primary side of the interface. All right. And then it's just up to them to take that information and then post it to your accounting package. Is another question? Yes?
What kind of printers for the trucks, for the delivery trucks?
We generally work with the off-the-shelf Epson printers. There's most of, if you're running LCRs or e-counts or any of the other electronic registers available in the market, you'll probably run an Epson slip printer or an Epson thermal roll printer. My preference is to migrate to thermal roll printers. The cost of a 3-part ticket is around 10 cents a piece. The cost of 12 inches of thermal roll paper is like a fraction of a penny. May not sound like a lot, but if you're doing tens of thousands of deliveries a year, it amounts to several $1,000s in savings. Plus, you can get more sophisticated with a thermal roll printer. You have more real estate of paper to work with. So if you have somebody on contract, fixed price contract, and you're coming towards the end of the season, and they've only got, I don't know, 132 gallons left on contract, you can do a split price invoice. You go, okay, those 132 gallons is at, $1.90 a gallon, and the other 400 gallons we delivered to that tank is at market price, whatever that is. Okay, and that just takes up more real estate. So thermal roll printer is my recommendation. Any other questions?
Thank you, Tom.
Well, thank you very much, everybody.